Yeah, we call it the equalizer.
Cheating. Definitely cheating. Lazy, no.
At least should be 3.
N+1, right? They
Yeah.
say?
The wife said you could die tomorrow. Just get it.
Took them for a little spin. Wow.
It's so much fun. It's like being a kid again.
And nobody's judging you out there. For me, getting older and falling behind other riders, and just took the stress out of group rides for me. So a little bit of assist, and I don't care where I go. Let me kind of go a little deeper into the woods, longer rides, and just kind of get back out there. I think with the pandemic, I was less active, and it's just a nice way to get back out there again. We call it the equalizer. It actually helps me not get anxious before a ride. I knew there was a big hill at the end of the climb. I was on that climb through the whole ride. It took me out of the ride itself. Knowing that I have just that motor in my back pocket, I can go and enjoy the ride. Took a lot of convincing. It was not easy. I felt like I'd given up kind of getting an e-bike. In retrospect, I get out. Whereas I wouldn't. It's still a workout, even if you have a motor on your bike, and you can choose how much assist and how far you want to go. And nobody's ever said, hey, like, how dare you have a motor or anything like that. Certainly more often than we were going. It changed where we ride. Like I said, we can get out into a little bit farther out because I'm not so worried about being too tired to make it back. We'd already switched over to riding on gravel more than road, but it's.
We did like a weekend trip that we wouldn't have done before, and you are like noticeably less anxious beforehand. During it, you enjoy it more.
Yeah, it's the funniest thing, right? Like, what do you do for your mental health? Get an e-bike. But it's true. Like, getting out is good for your mental health, but also just not having your exercise add something to that. Pretty good. Go for a ride and we talk and we connect and all of that instead of being on your partner, like desperately hanging onto your partner's back wheel. It's like you can actually chat and keep up.
Being out is good.
Yeah.
I always say I'm a completer, not a competitor.
On this bike, 4 years.
Is it like a custom made, right?
Custom,
so you
custom.
made it yourself?
No. One of the mechanics that I think is working for Obsession Bikes at the e-bike store made it. It took me 6 months to decide on this bike, but the wife said you could die tomorrow. Just get it.
Yeah.
And then since then I've done 25,000 kilometres on it. 25,400 I think I'm at in 4 years. And that's 25,000 less on my truck. You gotta go ride them because people don't understand them. People think it's cheating when you can't say that unless you go ride one because then you see the benefits. Right? So yeah, I would say to most people, hey, don't even judge until you go ride. And then decide. I just took a couple out on an e-mountain bike tour through Endless Biking and took them up from and across the Seymour. I didn't have an e-mountain bike myself, but it was a blast.
Yeah.
Because we did 4 hours of riding, 50 kilometres, and got so many trails. So, you know, I'm all for e-bikes, be it on the road or the mountain.
Okay.
You know, because it allows a friend who's had an heart condition to mountain bike again.
Yeah.
You know, different ages can mountain bike. So
3.5 sets of tires, 3 chains, 2 cassettes, 2 front rings, about 4 sets of pads. E-bikes, 9-speed tops. You need the bigger rings and the thicker chains. It just chews it up. 3,700 kilometers on this bike. I don't drive, so
Okay.
I ride everywhere. So I rode in from the Burnaby Heights and did a couple of laps. So it affords me the ability to not really worry about having to call somebody to go for a ride and rely on anybody else. What's nice is also I can take it on the SkyTrain. I can go out and do Burke and Eagle, you know, anywhere the SkyTrain goes. And generally, if the trailheads are about 8 kilometers to 10 kilometers away, it's any good day. In the lowest mode, eco mode, it's basically like not having, it's like an analog bike, but you have assistance. So by the time you do the 10K, you're not tired. So if you do a climb, put it in trail mode, like go up in modes to do a climb. Yesterday I was on Burnaby Mountain doing the Sidewinder Trail. It was just as if I had a hand behind me. It was basically the trail went from this to this. If I was on an analog bike, it probably would have taken me maybe 25 minutes to do that ride. I was done in 7. 2-3 days a week for the last few years, but prior to that I was riding 5 to 7 days a week. And then as I aged, I slowed down a bit. So I'm now comfortable riding 2, 3, even 4 days a week now. Like going up to the mountains and riding the trail and such. There's also the misconception that there's 3 classifications of e-bikes, class 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
This is a class 1, it's pedal assist. I don't pedal, I get nothing from the bike. It's also regulated to 30 kilometers per hour. So if I go beyond 30 kilometers per hour, I get no assistance from the motor whatsoever. I have done like 60, 65 kilometers per hour on it, but there's no assistance. And that's straight downhill, so you don't need any assistance. Class 2 and 3, they have throttles. To me, those are motorcycles. Those you should have a license for. But something like this, no. I think 2 and 3 could be how fast they go.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe that's it. But I don't really know off the top of my head. I've been thinking about actually going to look that up, just so I can argue the point. Put them on it, give them a hill, go ahead. I've had complete strangers. I was riding beside a gentleman going up Old Buck, and he had an analog bike. I was just riding with him, and he asked, "What's it like?" I go for it. He goes, "Are you sure?" I go, "Yeah, go ahead." He got on it. I rode his bike for a little bit. He was just like, "Yeah, I need one." That's basically it, is get on it and see what it does for you. Because riding in eco mode is just a little bit better than an analog bike. You get that little assistance. The only times I'm riding trail mode on an actual trail is if there's an uphill, like there's a quick climb, and trail mode, boom, you're to the top of it. Especially if it's rooty and rocky. It's like having a trials bike, you just zip right up. Depends on, I would say, how comfortable you are with the different methods of selling. So you can go to your local bike shop and buy one. You know you're going to get full support there. Unlike this Common Cell, which is basically you buy them online. But Common Cell does have a warehouse distributor in Squamish. You can go in and they have a display room and they'll let you take the bikes out. But warranty, I got to get to Squamish and such. My local bike shop, that's a warranty issue. Go deal with them. But they do all the other work on it. So if you are comfortable with doing your own work on the bike, and you drive and you have no problem getting your bike to wherever it needs to for warranty, I do suggest buying it online. But if you're somebody like just a weekend warrior, or older and just like to get out for a ride, go to your local bike shop, support them. There's so many great bikes out there right now, and the prices are coming down. The supply chain is a lot better now. Once or twice somebody on the trails yell at me, that I was on an e-bike, whatever.
The reason I purchased my e-bike is because I wanted to become active and I wanted to take advantage of the beautiful place that we live in. And I'm not as fit as I'd like to be. I'm 64, and so I wanted. Yeah, thanks. I wanted just to enjoy where we live and enjoy riding. And but I don't have the strength to do a regular bike such as my cousin. But anyways, yeah. But an e-bike is great. It's a lot of fun. it helps me get my heart rate up, which is important. It helps me get some exercise and maybe burn some calories, but more and more just enjoy the time out riding a bike. So, my brother bought one, and my sister-in-law bought one. They're around the same age as me, and that motivated me to get one as well. And I just thought it would be a lot of fun. It's just about enjoying what you're doing. Yeah, it's just easier. And you know what? I don't have the strength that I once did when I was 12. When I used to ride a regular bike. But I'm having a lot of fun with this. Yeah, I just got it, so it's just fairly recent, like the last few weeks or so.
Right.
So it's very recent, but you know, I don't know how it's going to be in the wet rain, but we'll see. Yeah. Go rent one. Go rent one and go together. You get an e-bike, she get an e-bike, and away you go. It's so much fun.
It is.
It's like being a kid again.
It is nice.
3 years ago, and it was pedal assist, but you got to do more pedaling. It wouldn't get me the range I wanted, so I started looking in, doing my homework, checking every e-bike out in the market. I go to a bunch of stores in Kitsilano. They got 750, 1,000 watt motors. Took them for little spins. Wow, like a motorcycle. Go to a whole bunch, and then finally come back to this. Go to Rad Cycles. Rad Cycle. Rad Cycles says it's against the law to have a 750 or 1,000 watt motor. So I go, well, there is no point in having that if it's kind of against the law. You know, you got to put a thing to reduce your speed, so you're defeating your purpose of having the bike paying the extra money. It's got a 500 watt motor, 4817 AH amp hour battery. It will get me from West Vancouver to Stevenson and back, and 3 times up to Seymour Dam and back. And on the final trip back, I used power only, and I still had battery power left.
Okay,
so I
that's
can't ask for, that's 250 kilometers of riding on one charge. And whenever it comes to, I'm moving 35 kilometers an hour whenever I want. It's like almost in between a bicycle and a motorcycle, and I'm not bothering nobody. It's peaceful, quiet, and I'm getting from point A to point B the way I like to, you know? Not on a motorcycle, but the next closest thing. And I don't want a motorcycle because it burns gas. I've done much riding all my life. I went to Europe for 3 months, did a bike cruise all through Europe, through Austria, Germany, Yugoslavia.
Really good.
So I bike ride all my life, and then I got back into it, and it's the best thing I've ever done. I like pedaling, but this helps on those big hills. I can do it by itself. Throttle and assist. 6 assists, 24 gears. So, you know, really, if the person's in really good shape, he could use all 24 gears. Probably wouldn't even need an assist. But, you know, I'm getting on in age, so it's kind of like nice to have that assist when I want it. Is that somebody has never, let's say somebody who's in their mid-40s, and it's been since they were in their teens the last time they really rode. Oh, I'd like to go for a ride up here, up to Seymour Dam. Well, that little bit of assist will make your ride enjoyable. You know, as opposed to, hey, I haven't rode a bike for 20 years, then that's a workout, and you're not going to enjoy it. You might not want to come back. You got the electric on it, I think you'll want to come back.
Every bike here, no matter what motor got, they will do the job. The difference will be how fast you want to climb uphill. So the 40 Newton meters torque motor, which is the entry point,
14?
40.
40, 40,
Yeah,
okay.
40 to the 85 Newton meters torque will be, let's say, 28 kilometers an hour, 20 kilometers an hour, right? And then if you want to go further, then we talk about the battery capacity.
Okay.
So the bigger the battery, the more range you can get. So take your time, guys. Enjoy the ride.
All right, so we'll go to the Lynn Valley and then come back to the
Yes.
end of the line and
Yes,
come back.
sure.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks a
Okay,
lot.
guys.